Hello fellow nerdmaids and nerdmaids-to-be. Today, I'm going to be sharing the Swimtails story. So, I've been in the mermaid community for about 4 years now, going on 5. I've seen a lot of things happen, but I wasn't really super involved in the online part of mermaiding until about early 2016. That's when I really started, researching things, and about that time I was starting to research a video about my top 10 places to buy mermaid tails. Unfortunately, the place I went to for probably the most relevant information was the Mer Network. So this is early 2016. Swimtails and mermaid tails that looked like this. And as for someone who at the time was a very big supporter of companies like FinFun, I didn't think they were that good. And the reviews I'd found on the Mer Network said the same, that they weren't that good and that their customer service was kind of shoddy. Back in early 2015 or something, they did have an employee that copied other mermaid makers' designs, and there's this big public kerfuffle and she got fired. You don't really hear news about companies like Magic Tail or FinFun or Suntails having internal issues and firing employees and it being this big problem. And that pretty much lowered my opinion of them because I was a naive 17-year-old. Flash forward to June of 2016, I had made my video and I kind of slammed Swimtails. I threw them under the bus. Well, okay, at the time, their tails looked like garbage. Let's just be real. The monofin was garbage, and at the time I wasn't a really big supporter of the fact that there were closed bottom flukes. My opinions changed a little bit more. An open bottom fluke is something that looks like this, where you can stick the monofin in this way. A closed bottom fluke is something like my two tails. I made that video, me holding them in kind of that lower opinion. I made that video and I let some of that come through. Honestly, don't recommend them, which may or may not have been a mistake. But anyways, in the summer following that, in about July, we ended up getting in touch over email, myself and Ryan Newman, the owner of the company. We kind of chatted back and forth about why the tails are actually safe, as to when I stated. And so I was like, okay, I'll give you guys a shot. You know what, I feel like I was being a bit unfair as to never seeing a tail and just going off of reviews I saw from people a little while ago, and at that time they'd been starting to make new designs. Now I may have been a little bit excited to possibly get an Ariel style tail. These were kind of the new designs that they had at the time, so I was a little excited to potentially be getting a tail to review. So we reached out, I gave them my sizing, I gave them my shipping address, and nothing ever happened. I never really told anyone about this, but I was I got ghosted. They basically just forgot about me, and I was like, your customer service is a little bad. Then I got all these tails. And so that's kind of what happened in 2016. I was like, well, kind of still suck in my opinion. And so I've never really super endorsed them. I've never been like, yeah, get a Swimtails. And since then, I kind of they were sort of like this company that I just kind of made fun of and roasted with my friends. They went through a growing stage and they had growing pains, and they were just coming up with designs that were more geared towards kids, but were just so ridiculous. And so, my opinion of them was still a little bit low, but they did have some decent tails that they put out. Still with the Finnis monofin, which was kind of on the decline at that point in 2017. 1 or 2 members of my pod got mermaid tails from them, and I was like, okay, you got them, but they never really liked them. The people that had a Swimtails of kind of those earlier fabric tails, they weren't super happy with them. One girl was like, yeah, it tore through and their customer service and replacing it wasn't that great, and it took me a long time. And so I was still kind of holding them in kind of a disregard. Kind of early 2017 towards 2018, that's when they upped their game, because that was around the time that Mahina Mermaid was like, alright, you can use our monofins in your tails. And so they came out with the Pro Tails. I did do a video on it, thanks to the wonderful mermaid Tavona. She told me, she kind of explained in detail what the Swimtails Pro was and her thoughts on it. And so I was starting to talk about it again. And I think the reason that these tails were actually received really well is that they were good fabric. Not as good as the Shop Vancouver Mermaids, but better fabric than the spandex that they had that would constantly get holes in it. They used a better monofin, my Mahina, my lovely Mahina, and they had plus sizes, which is something that the mermaid community didn't really have. And so I started to kind of be like, okay, maybe they're not so bad. I kept half an eye on them, I kept following them on Instagram. And then they came out with the beta tails, kind of just after the Finfluke fabric tails in February of 2018. Holy moly, everyone just freaking exploded, because for some reason, beta fishes are the best thing on this earth. I mean, I have a beta fish, I shouldn't be mocking them, but yeah, everyone freaked out about the beta tails. And they're like, oh my god, I need this, because they fit the Mahina. It wasn't something that I was like, I need to spend $400 on this. It was okay, that's neat. If they send one for me to review, that'd be great, but I was still kind of still salty over them, over the whole thing, and not very trusting, that I was like, I think I'll sit this one out, and people are like, review it, please! Like, so many of you guys asked me to review it, and I kind of just held out because I didn't really want to support them still, you know? Even though it seemed like they were making turnarounds, I was still kind of like, not really sure. They slid into my DMs. Hey, you have a pool, you have access to a deep pool and lots of fins. Can you maybe like try a bunch of your model fins that are vinyl casing? And I was like, yes. And they said, it's just putting slits in the vinyl and velcroing together on certain areas. And they're like, we want you on your side with this, and like, we want you to give us your review. I was like, okay, here's my size, here's my address, here it is again. Nothing happened. Meanwhile, you know, these beta tails are blowing up. So a member of my pod, Lisa, right around the same time that I was starting to order my Mermaid Amethyst silicone tail, she ordered the green beta tail. It took a ridiculously long amount of time for her to get it. She wanted to take that tail to Iceland, and it didn't come in time for September for her to take it to Iceland, like June or something, and she didn't get it till September. And so what I kind of thought is that they were just taking a very, very long time to process the orders, and, you know, things were kind of slowing down. This continued to happen for a couple months. Over the summer, they got a big increase of orders, and like a lot of people that I know and follow in the mermaid community got these tails. And they're good tails, and they liked their tails. They didn't really like the vinyl inserts, but who does? They just suffered and dealt with it. These tails are good, but a lot of people weren't getting them as fast as they would have liked. And so that kept accumulating and accumulating, and people were getting more and more frustrated. One of my patrons, Digimer, she ended up actually canceling her order because it was taking way too long, and she was like, forget this. I think a lot of people had the expectation that they would ship out just like that, like any other fabric tails, but unlike Finfolk, where people had the expectation that it was going to take 3, 4, 5, 6 months to get their tail, people weren't expecting that with Swimtails because they weren't being truthful about that and not saying, you know, like, this is going to take like 6 to 10 weeks to get your tail. You know, they were kind of saying like, oh yeah, it'll ship out like, you know, within the week, and they just kept doing that and doing that. And so from the outside, people were a little confused about it. A lot of times people's emails were getting replied to, and so a lot of people are getting very frustrated, understandably, when you spend $400 on a tail and it just keeps getting delayed. And so that's kind of what I was seeing, and I was like, And then something happened. On their Instagram story, there was something that was like, we're having a closing out sale. Husband cheated on wife with employee. We're dying. And everyone was like, what? But everyone loves that juicy drama, and everyone loved the mystery, and it was a good explanation. Obviously, marital problem. All these feelings are bubbling up to the surface, and people are getting mad, people are canceling their orders. As an observer, like, this is fun. They came out kind of publicly, but not really, saying like, oh no, it was an ex-employee, she got access to the account and like hacked it and everything's fine. But people weren't really wanting to believe that. Some people were still like, no, there's something going on. Oh, that's just a cover. You know, it makes sense because my tail hasn't come. And that's what the mermaid community does. Oh man, it was just so funny to watch the like huge clusterfudge that happened after that. And I was just like, wow. Of course this happened. Of course this happened to Swimtails. And then in December, there was an email that got sent out. It said, due to current production delays, your order has been canceled. I'm not sure how many people got this email, but I'm thinking it was at least 100 or so. It was in the hundreds, I'm pretty sure, because so many people were waiting on their orders at that time. They kind of said, so things are going bad, but Mertailor is nice and wants to pick up the pieces, so here's a discount code for Mertailor. So everyone was like, what the heck? What the heck? And after that, everyone's orders that were canceled started to get refunds, but not all of them got refunds. Some of them, it said like, oh, we can't give you a refund, it bounced. And so a lot of people went through PayPal and were like, okay, can I get my refund? And usually that worked, but some people, they had to go through their bank. So my friend Michelle, I'm actually just messaging her right now. I said, hey, did you ever get your Swimtails order or refund? And she said, I've had to open a claim and it got denied because the credit was already posted, but I've received no money, so I've got the claim reopened and now someone's tracking the case. So it's very, very hard to get a refund. And then I was just there to kind of pick up the carcasses and suggest that people purchase some from Shop Vancouver Mermaid that are about the same and have realistic wait times and are custom to your measurements and don't have those stupid inserts. You still can do that. Use my code Nerdmaid for 10% off. And so when that was happening, that's when I filmed my Aquatails review, which, you know, I said Swimtails is dead. And so then everyone's like, wait, what? Because clearly not everyone is as engaged in the community as I am, and I was like, oh crap. But in between me filming that video and me posting that video, there was an email that got sent out that said, yo! We're back in business, the cart's open again, we've updated our production things, please buy from us. And so they were like, hey, we're back in business, and we're like only using exclusively the Mahina, which I'm like, ooh, that is good news. And they're also selling their beta tails, but people are wary, and some people have like hesitantly purchased tails, and other people are like, no, I'm never doing that again. Everyone's just very confused, and everyone's confused because after I posted that video, I was like, don't bother with Swimtails. People are like, but I can still order from them. So I was like, okay, let's go straight to the horse's mouth, and I asked them some questions. So I was like, I'm gonna try and clear some things up. There's a lot going on that we probably don't know, but this is what I know. So I said, what the heck? And they said, we have an apology letter coming any day now. So I'm gonna hold off posting this video for a little bit and see if there's an apology letter coming out. I'll make kind of an update and add it onto this. The mermaid community is pretty forgiving. If someone screws up and they say, I'm sorry, that was dumb, I'll change my ways, usually the mermaid community will be like, sure, if you're open and upfront and honest. But Swimtails hadn't, and so people were like, you haven't explained what's going on, clearly there's something that happened, but we don't know what. What the heck happened? Why were your orders taking so long? They said, they advertised and they got overwhelmed, basically. The Mahinas, like, they had to wait for the Mahinas, they had to wait for the fabric, they had to wait for the vinyl, and so there were all these delays coming in from 3 sides, and they weren't able to assemble their tails. Their tails were not made like a fin fun where it's made in a factory in China, like just bulk produced in all sizes. They were trying to do the make to order, I'm pretty sure. And so that's what happened, is that so many people were ordering, and so they were like getting their numbers wrong, and things just went so. They're switching their suppliers, they're getting the Mahinas drop shipped, and now they said they're having more owners percentage orders. I'm like investors? It's gonna make it more organized and efficient. I'm like, this sounds fishy, I don't know. For the Instagram story incident, they said the seasonal employee had access to her Instagram feed on the office at work. She was upset we didn't keep her on. Personally, she was young and off her rocker. Lol. My husband and I are great, we just had a baby in 2018. Oh, 2017. And they said it was a coincidence that that happened. They're like, our marriage is fine, but this employee just did us a bad. In whole, I think that Swimtails has made leaps and bounds from 2016, but I'm still not entirely trusting of their communication and their customer service. So if you're gonna order from them in the future, do it with PayPal so that it's a little bit easier to get a refund if anything goes south. For some things, it's worth the risk. For the Mahina, it is worth the risk. So we're gonna wait and see how an apology goes. If you guys are still suffering and mistrusting, go to shopvancouvermermaid.com. Ding! Update. Here's the apology letter and / video and some voiceovers of what I think and what may or may not be true considering the evidence that I've seen. Whoosh.
So let it be known that on Sunday, January 13th, they publicly posted their apology onto Instagram. I can't seem to find it anywhere else, but here goes. Swimtails would like to take this opportunity to personally apologize to our cherished customers and the broader mermaid community. Over the last 4 years, my family and I, along with an amazing staff of dedicated and hardworking individuals, have faithfully served over 60,000 mermaid customers, each and every product made to order by hand in our Colorado facility. When a small business experiences quick growth, it can be exciting. However, it can sometimes become difficult to manage when the growth is too fast. We experienced a large demand in late summer 2018 that led to order delays. These delays were compounded when important vendors were unable to meet our demand for materials. We closed our cart in early December and canceled some pending orders that would not make it by Christmas. Our intention was to give those customers an opportunity to order with another provider for the holidays. During that time, our cart was closed so we could revamp our production process and supply chain, ensuring a quicker order fulfillment and a better overall customer experience. We've also set up redundant systems so we can handle busy times more efficiently and without any delay. We realize that we let many customers down and we take full responsibility for that. We are extremely sorry for all the delays and cancellations. We know that earning back the trust of many customers will not be easy, however we are dedicated to doing just that. This year you will see more satisfied customer reviews and new products that will knock your tail off. We hope you will stay tuned to these exciting developments and consider ordering from us again. We love you all and we are so thankful for all the support we have received from the mer community. We wouldn't be here without you. Smiley face, starfish kisses, and mermaid wishes. Signed, nobody, but I'm assuming it was Ryan Newman, the owner of the company, that wrote that. So my takeaway from this is that it was a pretty good apology, and I think that they definitely needed to do it. They probably should have done it sooner. maybe when they closed their cart in the first place, but they were just going through so much. Like they said, it'll take a bit to earn back the trust of many people that have been annoyed by them in the past, but I'm hoping that this is a new turn for the company. Although there wasn't much apology by way of the people who still haven't received their refunds or their tails that took way too long for them to get, there wasn't really any acknowledgement of that, so I feel like that's something that was a little lacking in regards to a personal apology, as opposed to just stating why things went wrong vendor-wise and what they're doing to make it better.
Hopefully, you know, I'm trying to like move past being like judgmental and stuff, but I mean, I still like don't really trust them all that much, so we'll see how things go in the future. Swimtails, if you want to actually get me to review one of your products, let's follow through on it this time. Give me an order number so you can stay accountable. Let's see how this goes for take 3. So thank you guys for watching that video. If you enjoyed it or found it informative and maybe cleared up some of your misconceptions, give it a thumbs up. Comment below your experience, maybe what you thought. Just let's get a big salt war going in the comments so I can get that nice algorithm money. I love the engagement on my videos, and I hope that, you know, I didn't offend anyone with this video. I just want to state the facts, some of the rumors I heard, and then my personal opinion on it. This has been the Faith D. Brownlee Nerdmaid show. You've just been faith-filled in. I've been watching a lot of Philly D, can you tell? I love your faces, and I'll see you next time. Oh, I did forget to say one thing, is that like when I kind of accused them of their tails being unsafe, I was just being like someone who's really snarky about being a lifeguard. I'm not even a lifeguard anymore.